podcast. I'm your host, Drew DiAlberto. I have some beautiful women around me today. We have Michelle, oh my gosh, I was going to say Hernandez. Michelle Caba, not Michelle Hernandez, from Legs, Fort Lauderdale. And also Erika Mann from Legs, Fort Lauderdale. And, we've had Sarah Filipowski when she was Sarah Brogely was on the podcast. And then we have had Michelle Hernandez from Legs, Miami. So tell us about starting up Legs Fort Lauderdale, because I know it's new and it's kind of the train is moving down the tracks.
It's moving very quickly, faster than I think Erika and I anticipated.
Okay.
So I'll give you a little backstory. I moved here from Edgewater, New Jersey during COVID. So I'm one of those COVID refugees.
You and everybody else.
And I needed community, so I started to network. And I had found a network in Miami where I met, I don't know if you've heard of her, Melissa Messina.
Mm-hmm. Marissa Masani.
Marissa
Masani. Yeah. No, when I met Marissa, there's my Marissa story. We actually met at one of Ariel's events, and Ariel said, "Oh, you have to meet Marissa. She'd be great to come on the podcast." And we're still trying to work that out. But I asked her if she would support our 100-hole challenge for First Tee of Broward, and she actually came out and volunteered for what was supposed to be a day, got rained out and turned into like 3/4 of a day. But we play 100 holes of golf in one day and raise money for charity. So I'll be recruiting the ladies of the new Legs chapter for that in about a week, because August 9th and 16th. I'm sorry, August 9th, August 26th, and September 16th.
Okay.
Are the dates for that. But Marissa Masani, go ahead. I'm
sorry,
you sidetracked me.
I chopped up. We look forward to it. But I don't know how I just chopped up her name.
That's okay.
Met a bunch of times.
That's all right.
So I met her, and at the time I was spending a ridiculous amount of money with this PGA instructor, because I said, if I'm moving to Florida, I'm gonna take up golf for real, right? And I had played before when my past life. So she said to me, she was like, "You need to meet Sarah. They just started Legs in Boca." I was like, perfect, I live in Boca. And so I did. I went to a few lessons. I fell in love. I got to create community with all these women. I'm a mother of a teenager who goes to Spanish River. So if anybody is a parent of a teenager, you're not meeting parents or friends, right? So this was my opportunity to meet other moms with kids that were in Spanish River, business women. And they helped me get acquainted and actually fall in love with Florida and fall in love with Boca.
Nice.
So so then I started to, think of other communities I could be a part of to extend my tribe. And I joined Tower Club, where I met Erika.
Okay.
And the reason I joined Tower Club was because of that perk of, the 2 tee times a month that you get as a member. Mm-hmm. But I soon realized that we didn't have any participating golf courses nearby.
Not at all.
Yeah, you gotta drive or fly for sure.
Right.
Yep.
So, I would talk to the women that I'd meet about my experience with Legs Boca. And they would see me post about it. And so women were like, "We want to do that, but we're not driving up to Boca. We want to do
me.
that." Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I was like, well, there's one in Miami. Yeah, I'm not going to Miami either, right?
Yeah, if you're not driving to Boca from Broward, you're definitely not driving to Miami
definitely
from Broward.
not.
So, although I did go to the last co-ed event that Michelle Hernandez had, and I had a really good time. Really good people, and I think there were about 6 men, and everyone else was women, and we had a blast. It was an awesome event.
Yeah. No, she's done a great job with that chapter. So we just put out feelers. Every time I posted one of our lessons on my socials, women would DM me like, "I want to join you. I want to join you." So I spoke with Erika about it. I was like, "I think maybe we need a Fort Lauderdale chapter," and she was like, "I'm in. I want to let's co-president on that."
It was not a hard sell, it sounds like.
No, not at all.
So, the approach we took was the approach we probably take in business. It's just do it and ask for permission later.
Right.
And so...
Spoken like someone who's worked in corporate America before. Go on.
So,
yes, we're both ex-corporate.
I am too. I was in the worst kind of corporate, arguably. I was a banker for 8 years. So.
Oh, I was on Wall Street for 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we actually put all the pieces into play before we even presented it to Jillian.
Okay.
And we had the partnership with Tower Club already set up. They had agreed to give us, the second Tuesday of every month as a free member mixer.
Okay.
And it's on the day that they have their new member mixer. So we'll get to meet new members that are coming in.
Got it. And just for our listeners that don't know what the Tower Club is, give us the quick rundown. Not that Tower Club's expected to send me a check for marketing them, but I was a member for about 4 or 5 years, and then I wasn't going to downtown Fort Lauderdale anymore.
Maybe the three of us can get free memberships.
Yeah,
for real. All right, go ahead, tell them.
So Tower Club is a business social club where basically, any who's who in business or government, what do you say, fraternizes and
congregates to network.
Yeah.
I actually office up there 1 or 2 days a week. I meet my team up there. When I travel, I go to the sister clubs in other cities.
Yeah, they have some nice clubs. They have some nice golf clubs. They have some nice clubs. They do have a lot of good perks. When we stopped traveling, I just was like, I'm not using the perks anymore. What am I doing here? So, but I'll be your guest at the member mixer anytime. So
awesome. The second Tuesday of August. I'll make sure to remind you.
That's good because basketball season for both kids ends at the very beginning of August. So that's perfect timing because then I get my evenings back. So you said, okay, we're going to start legs. What were the next couple of steps? Because I know it wasn't just like, oh, we'll invite 150 people and pray. No. So what was the next couple of steps?
So we knew the right partnership, which was Tower Club. It just made complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing was, finding someone that understood golf and had the relationships and could get us on a golf course. And so that was Rich Rogers.
Rich Rogers, the Godfather, of course.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you, he really went out of his way to get us, meetings with different golf courses around South Florida. But we landed with Plantation Preserve, just, because of the proximity to downtown Las Olas, and also it's just convenient for most people.
I can get there in about 11 minutes from my house out west in Davie, so
perfect.
When you have the first co-ed event, I have no excuse for not attending.
Perfect. Good. We can count on you. You'll be our man-ambassador.
I'll be your man-ambassador.
There you go.
So we'll be having Legs Fort Lauderdale sponsor the On Bar podcast before we know it. So.
Yeah. And what we learned was, usually it's pretty easy, like if you're throwing money at people to let you on, wherever, but this was not it. So this was a lot about, knowing the right people, also positioning legs in the right way. And so we have about 31 members right now. And
sorry, you just said positioning legs in the right way. And as a guy who plays golf with men and women, we can't not let that's what she said go. But I'm sorry, I would be probably kicked off my own show by my audience if I didn't say that.
Well played.
Because I know from playing with the ladies of legs that they might say that's what she said more than some of the guys.
Yes,
so
possibly.
It's A-okay.
Possibly.
Yes, it's so true. So true. So we're excited. Our first lesson scramble will be January 26th.
Okay.
July.
July. I'm already in January.
Yeah, don't take us all the way out there.
July 26th, that's only a few days away by the time this episode comes out, so we might have to move you up in the rotation.
Please do.
Okay, all right.
And we have already 31 members. We started out with 14 without even the launch party.
How do you get 14 members without trying? You just had them on like a sheet of like, hey, wait, when you have a Fort Lauderdale one, put me on, or?
So there was already interest. We already created the buzz. We had told a lot of people in our personal networks that this is coming. So yes, there was the first wave of sending out the messages to our direct connects. And then, social media is huge for us. Just getting our social media accounts set up within the first 2 or 3 days, we had over 100 followers on our Instagram page, on our LinkedIn page. LinkedIn is like my big networking.
Sure.
I'm in HR and I've been in talent acquisition for years. So like that's been my bread and butter since 2007.
Yeah.
So we've really just been able to just like even just lightly start sending messages out and post out, and we're barely tipping our toe in the water right now.
That's
so
awesome.
We're really
excited.
excited.
You guys could have 50 or 60 or 80 members by the end of the year.
Yeah,
but even before that,
That's
our
really
goal is
cool.
way before that.
Oh, good. I like it. I like it. Well, we'll want to have you back in a few months to see how it's going. What is your relationship to the game of golf? You know, do you watch golf? Do you play often? Do you play just for business? Is it something you practice? You know, what's your relationship to golf?
So I got introduced to golfing when I started selling fixed income trading software to traders
Okay.
and to
Sounds like
portfolio
a bunch of
managers.
people that play golf. Go
Yes.
on. All right.
And so I knew that in order to open trading relationships, I had to create these, environments of networking, and the guys wanted to be on the golf course. So I would find the club, I would set it all up, I would get the caddy girl, make sure everybody had enough tequila, and
All right. All right. Hey, you gotta make sure everybody has enough tequila for networking. All right, fair enough.
and I looked the part. I knew, the attire, the
Yeah.
dress code. I had the shoes, the golf clubs, but I didn't know what was what. I didn't know the difference of the greens, nothing.
Okay.
And so I would just drive the golf cart and just talk to the guys, right? But I really wanted to learn. I started to realize that there's a direct correlation between golf and life and business, right? And it's a mindset game. And just how, they would relate to each other and decide who they were going to trade with
Mhm.
based on the golf game. So if somebody wasn't playing nice,
Mhm.
they weren't
They
getting
weren't
the
getting
business.
the business. Yeah.
And so I was like, well, this eliminates a lot, right, of stuff that we have to deal with.
Right.
But also the game of just it's a game against yourself,
Yeah.
right? And what better life lesson is that? So that was my first introduction to golf. But I lived up north. How many times are you golfing in the year, in the cold, in the snow?
I didn't play golf when I lived in the Midwest, so I don't know the answer to that question, but I do know that a lot of our clients are not open in those times.
Right. And in my town, in Edgewater, New Jersey, it's right on the Hudson River.
Mhm.
It's only a 2-mile town, and we had a driving range. So spring and summertime, I took my son, and my son's best friend started playing from when he was 5 years old. He's actually a pro golfer.
Oh, wow.
His parents traveled the world
Okay.
for tournaments. The father works for ESPN. So we got introduced even further into the game because this kid has been playing. I mean, he had no other
Mhm.
sport that he was involved in. So to spend time with him, we'd have to go to the Knickerbocker Country Club in Inglewood.
And that kid's name was Tiger Woods. No, I'm just
No.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
So it's actually Arush Patel, but
Okay. I was close.
You were close.
Equally famous guys, no big deal.
So that's how we've been introduced, and take my son to Top Golf all the time.
Yeah.
Now Pop Smoke. My son wants to take it up now that he sees me so involved.
We went as a family, the four of us, to Pop Stroke over in Naples or Fort Myers or wherever the one over there on the West Coast is. And my daughter had the most fun of any of us at 8 years old. She's 9 now, but the thing she liked the best was the ice towels. She got one of those on every hole, and it made it fun for her. And I was like, I don't care. As long as it's fun for her, maybe I'll get her back into first tee lessons,
Right.
and we'll be able to go father-daughter golfing like we
awesome.
were when she was into it. So, I don't know. If you give me the secret, maybe I should send her to legs. She could be like your youngest member mascot or something.
We would love that. Absolutely.
I got an idea now. See, this is valuable because I would love to get her back into golf. We argued, and Michelle Hernandez made the point when she came on of that a woman who can play golf can get her foot in the door in the good old boys circle, and I don't think she put it quite that way, but
It's true.
we know what you mean, right?
No,
So
it's true.
and I would like to have that for my daughter. So if you guys get her into golf, I'll owe you one. We'll have to give you an extra discount on your legs trophies that I create when you do tournaments. But don't tell the audience. I have to patent it first.
And what I learned, which is one of I want to say it's almost like a tagline for legs, is that men who can't golf do, and women that can't don't. And that is so true because
That's me.
when I would put together these events for the traders back then, they talk about golf all the time on the trading floor, and I thought they were like PGA, ready
Yeah.
type guys, and then they're hitting the ball like a baseball.
Right.
And I was like, wait a minute, why am I not playing?
It's funny. It's one of those things where everybody's got that trepidation. But I actually talked about this with both Sarah and Michelle, and Leah and I had a conversation about it at 6 Degrees. Leah Charbonnet, I mean the attorney, who's also been on the podcast too. And I said, I've kind of observed that guys will just jump out on the golf course. No practice, no training, no confidence, no nothing. And we'll just go out and try and play 18 holes like maniacs.
Yeah.
And most of the women that I've dealt with in business and golf, like you said, you're going to take 15 lessons before they ever think.
That's me.
Okay.
So, true story, I used to work for the PGA Tour selling sponsorships, and I never golfed. And going back to women who don't golf, are afraid to, that was me. No pun intended, to a T.
Okay.
Right?
Pun intended. All right.
Pun intended. But all my colleagues, they would go out in the driving range in between, work and fun and all of that, and I was always too afraid because I didn't want to look like I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So, and this is years ago. This is going back to early in my career, back in 2006. And so when Michelle approached me about legs, I'm like, yes, I want to learn. This is like no pressure on the golf course with women, having fun, professional, like it all fit. It all came together for me. And now I'm like 6 lessons deep because I'm also a member of 6 Degrees. I've taken a couple of lessons up. I have made the trip up to Boca. I will make the trip down to Miami.
Yeah.
But I've taken a couple of lessons with Boca legs, and now looking really forward to our first day on the course.
Yes.
That's cool. No, the one legs 9-hole event that I did go to, Sarah basically needed an extra person to help everybody kind of navigate around and not tear up the course, essentially. Mm-hmm. And I had jokingly told her that I would wear a skirt if she allowed me to come. So I actually bought a kilt on Amazon. I own a kilt. And I wound up being paired with Michelle Hernandez, and she took pity on me because she's a really nice person, as you know, and said, look, if you have shorts, you need to put them on because you're going to die. Because, it was hot. It was in July. So, but yeah, it was cool. So how do you guys, you ladies, foster that club when you're in legs, that you're building those relationships and then ultimately passing business, right? Because that's what networking is all about. The go-giver Rich talks about all the time is, how are we going to build those relationships? So I want to refer clients to you, and I want to help you grow, and I want to answer your question when you're like, man, I'm just kind of stuck on something creatively, and help each other.
So I talk a lot about wealth building. Actually, in the beginning of the year, I have another business partner that we started this network called Women's Wealth Circle. And I've spoken about how golf is a wealth building activity, right? Because as I mentioned before, it just uncovers like people's personalities and how giving they are and how good they are to themselves, right, and to others. So, I mean, it speaks to the fact that we have sponsors lined up all the way to the end of the season, because as soon as we launched, some are connections of Erika, some are mine, people that have worked with me in the past, and they're just like, we want to be a part of anything that you do because you're always giving, right? And we know that there's going to be great women that are just the same. And let's be honest, like, networks take on the personality of the founders, right?
The leaders, yeah, of course.
It takes on. So the fact that 31 women already trust us.
That's good.
Right.
That's very
and good.
And like us and want to be a part of this and are givers.
Well, and you show them an experience and a fun time, and that they can also get business through it, and they're going to bring their best friends.
Right, and I also speak a lot about vulnerability. Like, there's great power in that. So if you're not comfortable, if you're a beginner, if you've never been introduced, like, come on in. Like, so many of us were in those shoes, right? And it takes, like anything else in life, practice and dedication and discipline, depending on how far you want to take it.
A little bit of courage.
But,
maybe being a little bit loopier, so
right.
A couple screws loose
that
doesn't hurt.
That always helps.
But I hope that, like, the same way that if a woman comes in and doesn't have clubs and needs to borrow some, and we're happy to share our clubs, that will be the same message we take on with business, right? That if you come in and you say, listen, I'm looking for this type of a client, or I need this type of opportunity, that the women are going to say, let's see who has that and let's help you.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Because I pride myself on being more of a connector, right? Because when I hear the word networking, I automatically get the ick factor, right? So I tend to stay away at this point in my career, especially in both my companies are all about people. And at this point in my career, I'm very selective about the places I go to, the time I spend. And again, it's all about connectivity, because people work with who they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
So it's not about shoving a business card in your face or about an elevator pitch that no one asked for. It's really about just meeting new people with a common bond. For us, it's golf, right? And fostering those relationships.
So it's interesting. So when you guys have your co-ed events, there are a lot of guys that I've spoken to are like, I don't want to go to that. Now me, on the other hand, I don't care. If there's good people in golf, I'll drive to Jacksonville right now to go to an event. I don't care. But what advice would you have, both of you, to, someone that's not a girl that wants to go to one of your co-ed events? Any advice for them to kind of blend in and make it easier? I mean, because I felt super comfortable, but I don't think everybody will feel that way. Just not knowing what they're not knowing.
Right. Well, just come with an open mind, right?
Fair enough.
You never know who you're going to meet. Some of these women are wives of some power players in South Florida, so don't be so quick to, close that door, because women are the decision makers in their home.
And a lot of these women are the power players. Let's be
exactly,
honest.
That too. A lot of these women are the power players. But just come with an open mind. And, we haven't even planned for a co-ed event yet.
No, we
haven't been to one.
Yeah,
So you're giving me things to think about, but I just would ask men to just have an open mind.
Okay. Erika, anything to add to that?
No, I would have to second everything she said. And be authentic. Show up as your authentic self.
And introduce yourself to the leadership, because they're very approachable and they're very nice people. So,
Thank you.
that would be the next one. What else do you want to, kind of get the message across of why Legs is good for your business? Do you have a success story or two already of learning and building a new relationship that you would not have if you didn't start this venture?
Yeah, I think just my whole story of moving down from New Jersey, right? From knowing nobody to just through the connectivity through Marissa. Why do I keep messing that up?
That's okay.
The connectivity with Marissa, I went from knowing no one to now I meet 300 people a quarter, and it took that one networking event that led to Legs, and Legs has led to so many other opportunities.
That's cool. Have you gotten any business, Erika, by, building a new relationship, or gotten a really good referral, or given a really good referral?
So again, I'm a connector. I give referrals all the time, and I get referrals all the time. So yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good. So, other than that, tell us how we can get in touch with Legs Fort Lauderdale. Well, not we, because I'm not eligible for membership, but tell us how our lady viewers can be eligible for, connecting to Legs.
Sure. You can visit our website. It's ladiesexecutivegolfsociety.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Legs. What is it? Legs Golf Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
My Instagram is I am Michelle Caba.
My Instagram is Mand Erika.
Okay, Mand Erika, got it. All right, so we can get in touch with Legs. We'll put those links out when we put the episode out. And if you guys have any events coming up and you want to talk about those, you said July 26th.
Yeah.
So tell us about the July 26th again.
So July 26th will be a lesson in scramble.
Mm-hmm. Ladies only.
Ladies only at the Plantation Preserve. We're limiting this one since it's our first one, and we want to make sure that we have crossed our T's and dot our I's so that we can keep growing and expanding. So we're only allowing 24 women to sign up.
Okay.
RSVPing very quickly. And every second Tuesday of the month, we are having a member mixer and a non-member, an inclusive mixer at Tower Club.
Okay, cool.
So second Tuesday of every month, Tower Club. Last Friday of every month at Plantation Preserve.
All right. So, and that's of course on your website and your social media.
Yes.
So, thank you, ladies, so much for coming up. It's been an absolute pleasure. Would love to have you back anytime to kind of get updates and see how you're doing. And we're happy to support Legs and have you guys supporting First Tee, and life is good. So thanks again.
Thanks for having us.
We appreciate it. Thank
Truly
you.
my pleasure. So other than that, that's it for the On Par podcast this week. We'll see you next Thursday, and thanks for listening.